Drewe, good to speak to you again. It is today World Mental Health Day. Would you tell us in summary about your story?
Just always felt different. Growing up, always was very sensitive. Just used to feel everything, from a kid, like just being at school and then of course you go into football as a young man and you're quite good at school at 12, 13, 14, you're then into the industry and there's no time to actually, no time or no ability to just collect your feelings and go, how am I actually feeling? And before you know it, you're in there and all these feelings get buried and these emotions get buried and it makes you sick, That was, my story was, it's funny because I talk to some players, they're like, no, I don't get it, but I think there's a lot of players who do and who just bury your feelings, and especially as men, and especially in this industry, because it's a very macho industry, to start opening up. And we're not talking about, I'm just talking about simple stuff to say, I remember a manager once calling me in, I didn't play so well on a Saturday, got subbed on an hour, and being the big target man, it's pivotal to the way the team played. He called me in, he said, what was that Saturday? I said, I'm sorry, boss. I woke up Saturday morning, didn't feel great, a lot of pressure on me, girl I'm seeing's just broken up with me, so I was a little bit down, and he was just looking at me, looking right through me the whole time, this manager, just kind of like, what are you talking about? And he said, well, are you telling me you don't want to play on Tuesday? I said, well, no, I didn't say I don't want to play on Tuesday. I'm up for playing on Tuesday. You asked me how I was. Well, get out, go and train. And okay, so I remember that I was 23 years of age. So I'll never forget, I shut the door that day in his office and thought, well, I can't ever say that again. Otherwise, that's me done. I won't play, I won't. So another 10, 11 years later, and then you're in a bad place by the time you finish. So you just can't be honest. Can't be honest with your feelings, and it's a tragedy, really. It's part of what I said to the manager when he asked me to come in here. I said, look, just talking to the boys and how you feeling. There's a lot of pressure, and you've got to go up this year, and contract situations, and how's your home life, and all this stuff.
What was your lowest point?
32 and a half years of age, relegated with Lincoln City out of the Football League. Probably the top earner there. Most experienced player there, a lot was expected of me. The team was expected to go up that year and got relegated. Big football club, Lincoln City in the lower leagues. And I remember leaving the ground that day and at the end of the season, start of May, and I remember, I wrote a book last year and I remember fans were throwing stones at my car. It was a group of 7 or 8 guys throwing stones at my car and swearing as I was coming out the car park. And I was just, when I realised when I realised there was nothing left in me, there was no fight left. Because usually if that happens, handbrakes up and I'm having a fight in the car park, that's no problem. But I realised at that point I'm emotionally gone, because I just whimpered out of the car park, pulled into a McDonald's up the road, ordered 2 Big Macs, 2 fries, 6 donuts, 2 milkshakes, just to try and fill the void inside. Sat there till I was sick as a dog. Drove home. Career was over, done. And it was a low point. It was a culmination of the couple of years building up to that. I was just struggling. Performance was struggling. Head was full of stuff. No one to talk to. But whether you use food or sex or alcohol or spending or gambling, all these addictions, they're just to fill an unhappy place.
Because at one point, am I right in saying that you were homeless, divorced, absolutely, and broke?
Yeah, at that point, because I finished Lincoln City, and look, I wanted to escape the pain every day. So you'd finish training, I'll go shopping, I'll go and buy that TV, I'll buy this, I'll buy that, I'll go buy clothes. Or then there was girls, and you're sleeping around and you're doing all this stuff and just to really escape, because you can't talk to anyone. You finish the career, wife, rightly so, asked me to leave. And yeah, there was no money. It had all gone. It was all a facade. I was driving the car, but that was on lease. It was a nice car. It was all a facade to try and, I'm a number 9. I'm trying to. And yeah, I Tony Adams and PFA, amazing stuff. Went to Sporting Chance Clinic 8 years ago. 8 years ago last week I came out of there. Amazing stuff. And I came out owed about 60, 70,000 pounds, I think, on credit cards and stuff. But I'd had a skill set. I'd studied for 4 or 5 years with the injury, so I set a business up, and then I just took off. My life took off, and it took off because I talk about my feelings. I go to regular men's group meetings. I set up meetings. I talk to people. I don't bottle anything up anymore. And I'm authentic, and my life took off because of that. And here we are, 8 years on. It's amazing because the debt was paid within 18 months. I got a call. I got a call coming out of Sporting Chance, literally a letter 2 weeks later. My family were so worried, how are you going to pay the debt? You're living on your brother's sofa. And I was like, it'll be okay. I finally found myself again. They were like, and I got a letter from the PFA saying you're due your pension. I forgot I paid into a pension for years. Just they take it out of your wages, and it was more than enough to cover the debt and some. So, I'm back on my feet, and so. Yeah, and I stay in that healthy place today. And I was saying to someone the other day, the success of my businesses and everything I'm doing is because I'm well inside. It's all a byproduct of. I talk about my stuff. I don't bottle stuff up. If I'm asked a question, I'll answer it. I don't filter. I don't people please. I don't all the stuff I had to do as a player. Can't say that. Don't say that. Don't rock the boat. I love watching cultures. You look at the All Blacks and the culture they've now got in the Rugby World Cup, incredible stuff. The biggest warriors in the world sit around in a change room and they talk about their feelings. Yet here we are, oh yeah, you can't talk about your feelings. Well, the All Blacks can do it. Tyson Fury can do it. Mike Tyson can do it. Go and ask them for a fight. So if they can do it, I think, everyone else can do it.
Final few questions on you and your journey.
Yeah.
What sparked your turnaround to where you are now?
Rock bottom, and it's a shame. Do you have to hit rock bottom? I don't think you do. It's just, if someone would have been able to shed some light on, and I was able to have that conversation in my 20s, it would have been okay. But if you don't, and that stuff builds and builds like a volcano, it's going to erupt. So at that point, there was nothing else. I got left with myself in a bedroom at the Sporting Chance Clinic in the middle of the woods in Hampshire. There was only me, a piece of paper and a pen. Who are you? Money gone, family gone, career finished. Who am I? And then you start to go, who am I? And you're in there for 30 days, and that's the process, rediscovering where you got lost, And it's an amazing clinic, Sporting Chance, 18 years, set up by Tony Adams, who's very vocal about this stuff. Said he was Arsenal and England captain, had everything he wanted, looked in the mirror every day, just saw this lanky donkey, couldn't kick a football, was ugly. That's what he saw every day, worthless piece of rubbish. That's how he looked at himself before he wanted to kill himself, but luckily he didn't go that far.
For those who haven't experienced what you've gone through, what you felt, how can you explain how it feels?
Just darkness, really. You're just not in the room. You're in the room, but you're not in the room. Like, I'm with you now, but my head's just scrambled, and I'm kind of just like looking through you, and I'm not really listening to anything you say, whether that's a family get-together, whether that's... And you put on the front, and you go home, you shut the front door, but then the darkness comes again. It just... No energy. I think it's a massive thing in football. When people talk about fitness, I just laugh all the time. You're talking about guys who've got 6% body fat, who can run all day, and they go, he's not fit enough. No, he's probably carrying a truck load of issues round. Let's remove the truck and he'll be all right, So it's that feeling of heaviness every day, And you don't have to be a footballer. I mean, I just did a piece today on social media with Tyson Fury talking. It's not about what you do. It's about just being open and honest. But I think but Prince William said post-war, I think the war was such a horrific time, obviously, what everyone went through. It was very much, we can't talk about this stuff, and this generational things happen. I mean, I love my parents to bits, but you don't talk about feelings in my house. I mean, that's not, bless them, that's just the way it is, it's all right, but my house is different with my kids, it's very much like that.
What would you say to people perhaps watching this or reading this or listening to this interview that are experiencing what you did experience, or maybe even a touch of it?
I think there's some incredible free stuff out there. I'm very, very privileged being a footballer. There is, through the PFA, we can do stuff that's separate. But I've got plenty of friends who aren't that, who are labourers, who are all kinds of people. And we met in rooms of the fellowships around the country. And if you're not an alcoholic, you don't have to go to Alcoholics Anonymous. There's a million. Google the anonymous fellowships. They're for everything. People with eating issues. I can't stop eating sugar, or I just don't go Google it. There's a million meetings. There'll probably be 6 in Mansfield, 10 in Nottingham, Tuesday night, Wednesday nights. And I was told something brilliant by my therapist in Sporting Chance. Look for the similarities, not the differences. Just get yourself there. Go and sit in a room for an hour, and you'll hear things, and you'll come out and you'll be uplifted because you'll think, hang on a minute, everyone else is the same as me. So there's some amazing free stuff out there. yeah, I think that's one of the best things.